Welcome to Amplifying Leadership, a place where we talk with guests on their leadership journeys and hear about what they think is key to becoming a great leader. My name is Tara Lehman, and I'm a partner, coach, and consultant at Twin Life Coaching and Business Services. For our leadership clients, we support you through this podcast and various leadership growth services. To learn more about our Amplifying Leadership division and our leadership community, please visit us at amplifyingleadership.ca. Today, I am welcoming Nicole Majik, an accomplished leadership and empowerment strategist and educator. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you, Tara. Nice to be here.
So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about you and your leadership journey?
Okay, well, my leadership journey started back when I was in chemistry, and just from the experience that I had, I ended up having people put with me and to train people and all of that. And because I dealt so well with different types of people, I ended up having direct reports, and then that just grew out. We were a growing pharmaceutical company, and at the time because it was growing so fast, we had a lot of reorganizations, and through those reorganizations, I ended up having more and more people put under me and leading a team that was basically servicing 8 different departments in pharmaceutical development. And also I was a lead chemist on 5 international campaigns. So I was in that middle management role. And it was really interesting because not only did I have my team, but I also had the international teams, and I also had to basically manage 8 different boss level.
Wow, that's a lot.
In pharmaceutical development, right, across different departments. So it was a juggling act with everybody wanting to get their stuff done immediately because we had tight timelines across the company. So dealing with my team, and because we were growing so fast, I could see what was going to be happening down the line. So I ended up basically moving into a space that I could connect with my people and really foresee what was coming down the line. And then basically create a whole different strategy for what was coming, so my team wouldn't be burnt out, because I was starting to see the burnout happen. So that's where it started.
Yeah. So that's interesting. And maybe we'll come back to talking about, what happens when you suddenly have those larger teams. But let me start with, obviously you had obstacles to overcome. Was there the big one that really was a tough one in your leadership journey to overcome?
That would probably be while I was running this team and the international campaigns and everything, I ended up getting mercury poisoning and almost dying.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. That is a challenge to overcome. Wow. All right. Well, that's a big one, and that's a health one, which means the team was probably struggling a little bit without you, correct?
Yeah, there was a little bit of that because there was a time that I was pulled out of work for 6 months.
Yeah. And so how did the team manage without you there?
And the team was, by then it was pretty well-rounded out, and they also had a lot of other people that were able to kind of, we were transitioning again. So there was a lot of other people that they were connected with that were really helpful.
Well, that's good. And it sounds like your team was strong enough to continue as well, which is great. That shows great leadership skills.
Yes, absolutely.
So let me touch back on the growth and the reorganization, because this growth doesn't always happen, but certainly does in a lot of companies. But change happens. And when we have to lay off or we're in huge growth, yes, people get, I almost call it dumped with work and dumped with employees because they got nobody else to give them to, right? So how did you manage that, as a leader, bringing on people and managing these 8 different managers above that, because of all this growth that you've been going through, and how did that work so that we can share some of that insight and tips with our audience?
Yeah, excellent question. The first thing that I did when I saw the rapid growth, that the systems that we had in place were not going to scale up.
Oh, okay.
So I needed to figure something out. So I took a little bit of time and I looked at who my team was, the individuals, their personalities, what they like, what they could do, what their expertise were in. And then I started creating this little grid of what I thought of them and
Okay.
where I thought that they could go. And then I had a team meeting that I told them I was going to be interviewing each and every single one of them so they wouldn't be blindsided or get all weird if I said, hey, I need to meet with you.
Yeah.
And so I let them know what I was doing to create this new strategy for training and overlapping expertises so that as we were growing, we wouldn't get burnt out as a team because of all the departments, and also strategizing how we're going to deal with all of the other bosses.
Right.
So I sat down with each and every person and I went over what it was that they thought about their job right now. Where did they want to be? What did they want to learn? And what I found was I was taking a very conscious leadership role and strategy with my people. And I found that they had all these limiting beliefs. And
Yes.
because when I sat with them and asked them, you know, where did they want to go? And I said, don't worry about me. You can tell me that you want my job. None of this is going to matter when it comes down to what we're going to be doing. And this is all about them. Because if they want my job, that means that I can move on to something else too. Right.
Yeah.
So kind of encouraging them to just be open and honest of what they really, really wanted in their personal life as well as their business life, because your personal life also affects your business life and vice versa. So I wanted to make sure everybody was well-rounded because I had some green people in my team that they're starting families. What does that mean for them? What do they want from their business? And then the limiting beliefs part of it was I saw that they were limiting themselves into what they thought their potential was. So when I said, well, this is what I see for you, is this something that you'd be interested in? And they would light up with, oh, you really think that I can do that? Oh, I didn't think that was an option, because they were limiting themselves. And I'm like, yeah, this is the forum where we're going to go over all of the things that you want to do. If you want to learn something new, great. I had one person in my team that she was like, I really don't want to be doing anything more.
And
I
you
like
get
what
those
I'm doing.
people and that's fine too. You need those workers, right?
Yes, because they can stay in that space and they like what they do. They're a little bit opposed to change because maybe they're older, maybe they're just maybe they're socially awkward. It doesn't matter what the reason is, wherever they're comfortable with, and then you can either work on encouraging them to maybe open up a little bit, because if it's a fear, that's one thing. But if it's a comfort that they're just really comfortable being in this one or two or three spaces and that's it, then give them some way that they can grow inside of that and be that subject matter expert and maybe train some people if they're good at training. Don't want to train other people, right? They may not just have that patience. So you just have to look at all of the strengths and where their weaknesses are and start weaving something special between the team. And that's what I did. I came out with a year-long training program to make sure that we had subject matter experts overlapping. And as we grew, that there was not going to be an instance where somebody felt, because this is where the company was going, people felt that they couldn't take time off. They had to work a lot of overtime. That if they were out sick for themselves or a personal day or to go to a doctor appointment, or their child was sick and somebody had to stay home, it was the dread of coming back with a pile of work on their desk that they're going to, be sick over. And I did not want that. I wanted people to be able to enjoy their time off and not dread coming back. And that's what I did. And I had the happiest team. We won all kinds of awards and monetary
Awesome.
awards for them doing the work that they did, the tight timelines that we met. Because when people are happy, they're able to do more. They're able to accomplish more and in less time. And I even saw that there were some teams or members of other teams that were really being worked to the bone. And we saw some of the jealous, the envy, and, comments or, jabs that were made, but we all knew that it was because we had something that was really, really good. And they just needed a little bit more support with whatever it was that they were doing in their leadership.
What I love about what you did was eliciting that feedback. So not deciding what their strengths are by yourself and going with that, but actually sitting down with them one-on-one and saying, where do you see yourself? And then putting your thoughts in there, because you're right. Like, we sit with our own beliefs and our own fears, and we don't always see what other people see. Right?
Yeah. Or we don't really know what they want, because a lot of times in the job, especially new people or, young people that are rising leaders, you see these people, they just want to do a good job. They want to do what the bosses want. They want to accomplish things, and they want to be looked at as, the good worker. Yeah. Because I had a lot of type A personalities too. I want to take it all on. I want to do good. I want to get recognized for that. And I want to move up. And they forget what they actually want and what makes them happy. So communication is huge with that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I was always an advocate for one-on-one meetings with my own employees, because I think it's really important. And we need that feedback, not just, from them, but on ourselves, asking them how we're doing and what resources that we can provide or whatever that is, so that they are happier. Because we all know when you're in a growth stage or you are laying off, the workload does come down on people heavily. And when you have that strong team and you have that communication, it's so much easier to move forward and to prioritize too, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, because people work together. And when you have more people who are able to do like overlapping elements of the work, really it becomes this beautiful thing when people are not afraid of knowing or not knowing something, because they always know who to go to for certain things, and nobody has to be the one person. So I was trying to facilitate that you don't have to create job security by being the only person able to do something. I want you guys to show your expertises in multiple areas. I built them up to be able to give presentations and be okay and feel the things, because I teach a lot with my empowerment and leadership skills that, there's 3 things that everyone needs to feel fulfilled. It doesn't matter what human you are. You need 3 things to feel fulfilled, and you need to feel safe and secure. I needed to make sure that they felt safe and secure coming to me for whatever, being open and honest with me in their communication, and also being safe and secure to be able to stand up for themselves when it came to somebody else. And then knowing that I'm also your buffer zone. If you have an issue with somebody else in the company, that you can come to me and I will help you resolve whatever it is that's happening.
But psychological safety, right?
Absolutely. Because people behave in very weird ways when they feel threatened, and whatever that means, right? Not safe. The second thing is everybody wants to be accepted, right? They want to belong. So they want to be loved. They want to be respected and valued and all that stuff. So you've got to really take a look at a lot of leaders. They'll constantly remind you of all the things that you could be doing better, but you don't get praised enough. And that was the thing, is like, great job on this. How can we improve this? And how can we improve it as a team? Because it's not always singling somebody out because something happened. Sometimes people are making mistakes because there's a flaw in the system. So if you get everybody's input in, I've noticed that there have been several mistakes in this area. Maybe there's a flaw in the system. Let's talk about it. and people
Mm-hmm.
would come up with great ideas. And when you
Mm-hmm.
implement that, they're being seen, they're being heard, and they're being valued, and they're also being trusted in their opinion
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and, comments and feedback. And the third thing is everybody needs to be empowered. When we
Mm-hmm.
don't feel empowered, we try to control everything. And that's why you have bosses that are micromanaging and trying to control everything because maybe they don't feel safe and secure and they're trusting their people. So it all goes together. It weaves this thing. And you've got to trust people to take the reins a little bit and show themselves, because guess what? The practice is needed. They have to
Mm-hmm.
make
Yes.
mistakes, and you have
Yes.
to back them and love them and support them in their mistakes, because that's how they're going to learn.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with that 100%. And coming back to something you touched on, which is about the system issues. Generally, if there is a mistake, it's usually process or system based. It's not usually the person. I mean, it can even go back to, did you train them properly? That's a
Right.
process, right? And so many cases, unless it's repetitive and you're trying to work with them with a performance improvement plan or something, it is generally system based or process based. And that's when you need to, like you said, ask the team. I was actually talking to a client the other day who was telling me that there was some quality errors, and we talked through that. And I said, have you asked them as a group what they think they could do differently that would help them with this manufacturing line? And it was amazing when we talked again what they came back with to fix this so it didn't happen again. It's all about eliciting that feedback that you're talking about and really having that good culture within your team. And that's something that certainly sounds like you had with your teams, like just really building that it's
Yeah.
okay culture, right?
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
And
So,
they all became, senior scientists, associate directors,
wow.
directors, all these things. So they had the skill sets and they had the confidence to go after what they wanted, which is awesome.
Yeah. And I want to come back to something else that you touched on, which is about the training aspect of things. I mean, I'm a person who advocated cross training. You know, I may have been responsible for X in my previous job, but I always made sure if I went on vacation, I didn't have to do it. As a leader, I did that. You know, it may be different people covering different aspects, but you're right, like that cross training, that meshing so that you have subject matter experts. But if that person is off, decides to leave, whatever it is, that you have that coverage. So help our audience understand, like, if you saw any differences with that, with the green people, the new people versus the seasoned people when you suggested something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the cross training was essential because
Yeah.
the way that I looked at it was, hey, first of all, I like to go on vacation and I like to be in my vacation. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
that boss who wants people to be calling me all through my vacation because I'm needed. I don't have a need to be needed.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes there is that I have a need to be needed. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to need me. I don't want that. And I didn't foster that. So I wanted people to be able to, that's what I wanted. I want you to be able to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that cross training was essential. So we had at least 3 people cross trained in every single area,
Amazing.
including myself. So
Mm-hmm.
I could pretty much do everything in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't afraid to go in there and get stuff done when necessary. So I made sure there was at least 3 people in each area ready to go.
That's
So
awesome.
that way if I'm on vacation, there's plenty of people to ask questions to, unless there's some kind of emergency that I'm the only one who can't answer
Mm-hmm.
that question, who
Yeah.
can answer that question, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was very, very, very rare. And it worked because
Mm-hmm.
people loved it, that there's multiple people that they could talk to. So, hey, if they felt more comfortable talking to this person, then they could do that. And then we could
Yeah.
foster better relationships for whatever reason that there might be some of that stuff going on. So you've
Mm-hmm.
got to create an environment where people are constantly growing and it's okay to feel certain ways, whether it's about
Mm-hmm.
somebody else or about the job or about whatever, and also safe enough to bring it up. So
Yes.
that I saw that across the new people and the seasoned people, because the seasoned people felt more comfortable training the new people, and the new people had more of a fervor for that training.
Yeah.
To be able to, because we streamlined all the training. So everything was the same. So everybody did things the same way.
That's awesome. That's process right there. Standardizing those processes, it makes it easier when someone leaves or something happens or you go on vacation, right? I mean, even with really small teams, like if you're a business under 10 people, cross train, because the business owner is going to be doing so much of it. But if there is even one part you can give to somebody else, it's so much easier to go, because just like you, I would rarely get phone calls. I called the 911 emergency where, someone walked out or, there's an accident, things that you need to know as a leader.
Right.
But besides that, I was like you, I rarely got those phone calls, and it was great because I could take vacation or take that day off or whatever it was.
Yeah. And you don't have that like weird dread coming back saying, oh my God, what am I going to walk into? What happened this time? Or if you hear from somebody, it's, what is it now? Right.
Yeah.
If somebody was calling you, you had this genuine concern that, is everything okay? Are the people okay? Right? Is everything okay physically? Okay. What's going on? And, just for comparative purposes, when I came into my department, there were 15 of us. We would go and have lunch all together every week, every Friday. And so we could all fit into, fill up a pizza joint.
Yeah.
And when I left, there were 75 plus people in my department. So, and if you think about that, servicing 8 different departments, all of them grew at that rate.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Wow. Well, I'm wondering if you can maybe summarize up a little bit for us today about that one key takeaway that maybe some of our guests or listeners might want to hear about, when we do have that sudden, increase, whether it be because of layoffs or because of, really good growth. Any key takeaway that they could take from our discussion today?
Yes. Listen to your people, be open and curious to what they have to say, and work together to understand where each other is coming from. And also, I'm going to throw in there too, don't be afraid to hear what they think of you.
Yeah.
Because you have a chance to change that perception if you feel that there's something otherwise, but also your perception, like their perception of you, how you are perceived, is super important to your growth and development. So if it hurts, just process it, because it shouldn't hurt and it'll help you grow.
Yes. And I love that too. And, there's an easier way to do it, is just to let your employee in a one-on-one know it's okay what you're telling me when I ask you this question. I'm trying to grow myself. What is it that I can improve upon? Or it's something simple that you can get so much information and improve as a leader. I think that's a great key takeaway. Thank you very much. So if anyone in our audience today wanted to learn more about you or get in touch with you, can they do that somewhere online?
Absolutely. They can find me at magicllc.com, which is spelled like my last name, Majik. And they can email me at magicllc.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for a great conversation today, Nicole. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Tara. It was great. Wonderful. Hopefully everybody out there got a little nugget to take away.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you to our listeners too. We hope you are taking away some tips or key takeaways from our conversation. Leaders need to continually grow and develop themselves for themselves and their team. If you want support and development, or perhaps would like to join a leadership community, please visit us at amplifyingleadership.ca, a twin life coaching and business services division. Until next time, please be safe and be an amazing leader or leader to be.